For more on the final push towards Civic Election Day, I'm joined by Regina's returning officer, Jim Nicol. Jim, thanks for being here.
My pleasure.
I want to start with the why. Make your pitch to people. We know voter turnout in civic elections is not super high. Why should people take the time on Monday to hit the ballot box?
Well, everyone has a responsibility, I believe, to vote, and it's a right and a privilege. If you want to have your voice heard, it's important that you participate. I mean, I was brought up that if you don't have some skin in the game, you really shouldn't complain. The city's level of government touches everybody in such a meaningful way, whether that's from park services to the clean water we drink, to the roadways, to the community services, community centers, our rec centers. I mean, people just take it for granted that those things are there, but they are there because they are supported and delivered by our municipal level of government. And I would encourage people that if they want to have a say in how things develop in the future programs and services, this is your opportunity to be heard through an elected member.
We know that there was quite an increase in advance polls. Does this make you hopeful for an increased voter turnout?
It makes me hopeful. It also makes me a little apprehensive. We did have a 100% increase over our advance poll results from 2016. And so that's incredibly encouraging. It's positive. I think it speaks highly to the fact that the public is engaged and that the array of candidates that we have in all but one contested race have really sparked some interest in this. Having said that, our history shows that in 2016, when we had a significant increase in our advance polls that year, that it essentially just took away from people who came out on advance polling day or on the normal election day. So again, it's hard to predict what will happen on Monday. We're ready for everything that can come our way, including whatever this storm might be throwing at us.
Tell me about the mail-in ballots. Can people still drop those off? And I've been asked by many people, can they fold them to get them in the envelope?
Yes, a couple of things. We will be receiving mail-in ballots until 8 p.m. on Monday evening. Up until noon on Monday, they can be dropped off at City Hall here, at the ambassador's desk, or at the drop-off box that is located just outside the main door. For other people who might still have a ballot, they would need to get them delivered to the election office on Solomon Crescent by 8 p.m. that evening. And yes, for people with the mail-in ballot, you can fold the ballot and then place it into the secrecy envelope and then continue on. The reason that is a bit confusing is that we only have one ballot. We didn't want to produce a different ballot type for the mail-ins. Typically, you don't fold the ballots because all that does is delays or slows down somewhat the ability to process them quickly through the vote tabulating machines. But it is not an impediment to anything. We apologize for some of that confusion. Again, it's something that we need to look at again going forward in the future. I can say, in a typical year, we have about between 80 and 120 mail-in ballots that are received. This year, we're in excess of 6,000. So we're dealing with a lot of paper right now.
You mentioned the impending snowstorm. We're also in a pandemic. How has that played into this? And tell me about the PPE and maybe what you've spent to make sure that people will be safe when they go to the polls on Monday.
Well, I don't have an exact number on the amount of money that we have spent on PPE, but I can tell you it's extensive. We have masks for all our workers. We have extra gloves. We have extra sanitizers. We have sanitizing stations everywhere. So we have extra workers that are working on poll days and advance polls whose primary and sole responsibility was to be sanitizing and wiping down surfaces and secrecy sleeves and pens and everything. It sounds very mundane, but it was very important. We'll be continuing to do that on Monday on our election day. Again, everyone who comes into a polling station will have to wear a mask. If people do not wish to wear a mask or cannot wear a mask, they will be directed outside of the polling station, and we will conduct a curbside vote. which we would do in any case if somebody couldn't come into the polling station. But we take the safety of both our voting public and our election workers very seriously. And it's just something that we are very focused on. We've had great results. There are barriers where people have to sign in, so we maintain social distancing throughout the polls. When people come in, they will not be lingering around. In the past, you might have had a polling station in a school or a community center, and people would, look around at the artwork, or, my grandchild comes here, I want to go and find their school picture. None of that will be allowed this year. We'll have very strict foot traffic controls and only one entrance and entry into the various polling stations.
All right. Thanks so much for this, Jim. Good luck on Monday.
Thank you very much. We're ready for it.